Okay, my presentation is on the PHP function and return keywords. A function is a block of code that can be used over and over again. It does not automatically execute, but it must be called. The keyword function is used to create that named block of code. Why do we use functions? We use functions so that it can make the program easier to test and debug because of the modularization. It is more efficient, and it makes the code reusable. The syntax of a function is that we have the keyword function, then we have the function name, and the function name should be a name that tells us what the function does. In the parentheses, there may be some parameters or arguments, and then inside the curly braces, we list the code to be executed. And function names are not case sensitive. Here's an example. In this case, we are creating a function. The function keyword is right here. The name of the function is right here. There's no parameters in this one, so we have empty parentheses. Inside my curly braces, I have an echo statement, hello world. And then we close the function with the closed curly brace. And then when we call the function, we call it by its name. And then you see the results here on the screen. Okay, this is what would appear. Here's another one. In this case, we do have arguments, and arguments and parameters are the same thing. So we have the function keyword. Let's see, there's my function keyword. My name of my function is add function, and my parameters are in the parentheses here. We have a number 2, so we have two different numbers here. And we're creating a variable called sum, which is going to equal the sum of these two numbers. So then we would echo the sum of two numbers is, and the variable, which whatever is the answer of those two numbers would be in that variable, would appear. And then we call the function. Okay, so add function, and we put in the numbers, the number 1 and number 2. And then when we call that function, it's going to use the numbers in the parentheses there, and then add them together. So the sum of the two numbers then would be 35. Here's another one that has a parameter. This, again, the function keyword. This is the set height function. And the parameter is that the variable min height will be equal to 50. Inside the instructions, it says to echo the height is, and then using the variable min height and a line break. So then when it's called using different parameters. When there's an empty parentheses here, it uses the min height from that we set here earlier. And so you can see the result of those of calling those functions with different parameters listed here, the results of each one of those. So where the one had nothing in the parentheses, it's using the one from the function here, the min height equals 50. And this example is from W3 Schools. So what is a return? A function can return a value of any data type. A return keyword is used to assign the value returned by a function. Return stops the execution of the function and sends the value back to the calling code. Okay, and I got this from the tutorialspoint.com. When do we need a return? A return statement is required anytime a function needs to return a value. When a function returns a value, a variable must be provided to receive that value every time the function is called. So the example I'm using here is from our project. And in the functions library, we have a check email function. It sanitizes it and so forth, returns it as it filters. This one filters it and validates it. Over here is where we actually call the function in our index PHP file in the accounts folder or the accounts controller. And this is my register case, and I haven't listed all of it here. I've left some parts out, but I've shown you where we use that. In this case, the client email is sanitized and filtered for getting anything improper out that isn't part of an authentic email address. And so then here is where let's see, where is it? Okay, so here is where we actually call that function, and we call that check email function using that client email variable, and then the result is returned to this variable here. And then down here, we use that to check if that use the check email variable to find out if it is empty. If it is empty, that we send a message to please provide a valid email address. And then we also empty out the box so that it's empty and ready for a new valid email address. And that's it. Thank you for watching my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed it.